All right, we're gonna go through the full Recone process on the Kicker Solo X.
Yeah, I just want to be the greatest.
All right, let's check out the field replacement cone assembly. You have here your alignment needles. Voice coil alignment pins are extremely sharp. Use care when handling. You have this cardboard piece that keeps it from moving around. You have corner braces as well as a plastic piece in there that keeps the spare from moving around. Check that out. So while we got it out, let's measure the voice coil. It's about a 3 1/4 inch voice coil, about 2.5 inches of windings. Looks like the spider is about 7.5 inches. You can also get a nice close-up of that paper cone and the inside of the rib surround here. That is a very cool looking surround, if you ask me. All right, I think all that's left is to pull this dude apart, see how easy it is to take it apart, and then put it back together. And if a dummy like me can do it, you can definitely do it at home too. I've got my manual set up on the iPad in the back just so that I know I'm doing it correctly. We're gonna start removing this top plate, then I'll flip it over and remove the bolts from the bottom. We'll use the alignment pins on the bottom. I do have a Recone here, but the plan is to take this one out and just reinstall it. We're gonna start by removing these bolts right up top. Looks like we're gonna need to pry it a little bit to get this free. There we go, easy peasy. Now we'll flip this over and take the ones off the bottom. You also have 8 bolts in the perimeter here, so we'll start by removing those. Looks like I'm not gonna be able to use my wrench here. I will tell you that this magnet is constantly trying to grab this out of my hand. I don't see any thread lock on the screws themselves. I considered using it when I put them back together, but since it's not there from the factory, I don't think I'll do that. All right, so I've removed all the bolts from the bottom, turned it up on its side, and the cone is pretty much out, so I'll turn it towards you. We'll pull it out, and then we'll put in the alignment pins and reinstall the cone. This is the factory cone right here. We got it out. We're getting ready to reinstall it, but let's check this out a little bit closer while From this point, it would be very easy to go ahead and remove the motor from the basket. You could paint this basket if you wanted to do something custom. It's very cool that this is pretty much a modular subwoofer. With that being said, I'll turn this back around, we'll get the alignment pins in and finish the Recone process. Before we install these pins, I give you a few notes. One of them is that the pins are very sharp, so be careful, and they certainly look sharp. The second thing is to make sure there's no debris in the voice coil gap. This is a brand new sub. I haven't had it in the element, so I've already checked that. There's no debris in the voice coil gap. We are ready to install these pins. Now they do tell you that you need to get these fully seated against the motor. That looks good to me. So and you can see they have a step. They will not go in this far. This is the stopping point, but you want to make sure you get it in up into that collar. Now some of these you gotta finagle a little bit to get them in there, but you can get them in there. In the next step, it tells us to make sure it's on its side before we reinstall the cone. When you're doing this at home, make sure and leave it on its side like the instructions say. I put it upright so you guys can more easily see what was going on. But when you're doing it at home, do it exactly as the instructions state. The instructions tell us that we need to push the pins in towards the magnetic pole. When you're installing this, make sure that the voice coil goes around these alignment pins. All right, it looks like everything is lined up, no pins sticking out. So I'll go ahead and install the lower bolts. What it tells you to do here is loosely install the bolts, then I'll tighten them to 20 inch-pounds using the torque pattern specified in the instructions here. Let's install this top plate here. All right, nice snug fit. So we'll start by loosely installing these, and then we'll torque them to spec. Since I have more access to these on top, I can actually use the torque wrench here. I've got it set on 20 inch-pounds exactly. Start with this one up here. This is number 1. Number 2 down here by the X. Number 8 and final. We should be good to pull these pins out and ready to put this sub in its enclosure and test it out. I'd like to thank all my Patreon supporters, but the $6 or more members get a special shout out, and that is 2001 Monolithic, Gene Nava, Joaquin Juarez, El Fuego Audio, Travis McClendon, Brandon Hanna, William Berg, Boxboy Audio Sound Solutions, Jesus Tires, Dennis Cromwell Jr., Scott Dilbeck, D. Stewart, David Kozlik, Scott McCord, Matthew Tolberg, Cornut, Trucker 9000, Bobby Burkett, Kevin Lautner, James Childers, Baba, Thomas Marshall, Living Loud with Andy, Neil Nato, Chris Cogburn, Lars Madsen, and Old School Stereo. For as little as $2 a month, you can join the Patreon team and get exclusive Patreon-only content, including a monthly Patreon-only hangout stream. It's a really good time. You guys are missing out, and if you want to join, check me out at patreon.com/HifiVega.
Oh, 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 oh. What's wrong and why you never said you felt that way? Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Got a buildup of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby I have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no